Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Yeah, always up for exploring some fascinating texts.
Awesome. So today we're going to be taking a close look at Al-Jumu'ah.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, it's a chapter from the Quran that really got me thinking. It tackles some pretty profound concepts. We're talking about Allah's power, the Prophet's mission, even what it truly means to understand knowledge. Not just having it, but really internalizing it.
Oh, absolutely. I think what makes Al-Jumu'ah so compelling is that it speaks to this universal human experience, right? How we grapple with our place in the world, how we relate to something bigger than ourselves, and how we seek guidance and knowledge.
Exactly. And it doesn't waste any time getting to the heart of the matter. Yeah. Right from the start, it declares that everything in existence glorifies Allah. Like, bam, right out of the gate.
It's a powerful statement, isn't it? That opening verse is a reminder of Allah's all-encompassing majesty. It's like setting the foundation for everything that follows.
Totally. And then it moves on to the role of the prophet, sent to guide those who didn't have access to the same knowledge. It's a huge responsibility, right? Being chosen to illuminate the path for others.
Oh, absolutely. It was a central part of his mission, bringing knowledge and understanding to those who had been deprived of it. A conduit for divine wisdom.
It makes me wonder, though, how do we seek guidance today, even if we might not call it that? Are there areas in our lives where we're searching for knowledge or understanding, maybe without even realizing it?
That's such a great question. Think about it. It really speaks to this idea that continuous learning is vital, right? Being open to new insights, whether in our personal lives, work, or even our spiritual journeys.
So true. Okay, and then things get really interesting in verse 4, where it talks about Allah's limitless grace. But then it also mentions that it's given to whomever he wills. It's like this crucial detail that makes you stop and think.
It really does. It brings up that complex relationship between free will and divine decree, right? Allah is all-powerful, yet our actions, our choices, still have weight. It reminds us to strive for righteousness while acknowledging that ultimately it's Allah's grace that guides us.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack there. And speaking of thought-provoking, there's this part that uses a really powerful analogy. It compares people who have knowledge but don't act on it to a donkey carrying books. It's such a striking image.
It is. Imagine that. The donkey weighed down by all these books, but it can't understand them. It represents those who might possess knowledge, but haven't truly internalized it. It's a warning against passive learning.
Oh, for sure. And in today's world, we're bombarded with information constantly. So how do we make sure we're not becoming that donkey? How do we actually put knowledge into practice?
It's a challenge we all face. I think it comes down to being intentional about the knowledge we seek, reflecting on what it means, and actively looking for ways to integrate it into our lives. It's about transforming information into wisdom.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, so then the chapter takes kind of a serious turn, right? Verses 6 through 8 question the sincerity of those who claim to be Allah's chosen people. It even goes so far as to suggest that if they're truly sincere, they should wish for death.
Yeah. That's pretty heavy stuff. But it's about this idea of aligning our actions with our beliefs. It's a call for introspection, questioning whether we're really living in accordance with what we say we believe. And in this context, wishing for death signifies a desire to be in Allah's presence, putting the afterlife above worldly attachments.
Wow. That definitely makes you think about priorities. And then the focus shifts to prayer. Verses 9 through 11 talk about prioritizing the remembrance of Allah over worldly distractions, particularly on Congregation Day. Now, what exactly is Congregation Day? I gotta admit, I'm a little fuzzy on that.
Oh, it's Friday. It's the day of communal worship in Islam, emphasizing the importance of coming together, strengthening our connection with Allah and with each other.
Okay. So it's about finding that strength and support in community.
Exactly. It highlights the idea of shared purpose,
Yeah.
Collective spiritual growth.
That makes sense. But it's hard, right? In our daily lives, it's so easy to get swept up in all the busyness and lose sight of what truly matters. How do we balance all those demands with the need for spiritual reflection and connection?
You hit the nail on the head. It's a constant balancing act, isn't it? And I think that's where this verse comes in. It's reminding us that true fulfillment doesn't lie in worldly pursuits like business and entertainment, but in seeking Allah's bounty. And that bounty, it encompasses both material and spiritual blessings.
Right, so it's about seeking that deeper meaning. And it brings us back to this idea of seeking, doesn't it? Seeking knowledge, guidance, Allah's bounty. It seems like a thread that runs throughout the whole chapter.
I think you're right. There's this constant yearning for something more, something beyond the immediate and fleeting, a desire to connect with something larger than ourselves.
Okay, so let me see if I've got this right. Al-Jumu'ah is reminding us that Allah is glorious, we should seek knowledge and then act on it, and we should focus on our connection with Allah, rather than getting caught up in worldly distractions. Is that the gist of it?
I think you've captured it beautifully. It's about recognizing our place in the grand scheme of things, striving for a life of meaning and purpose.
It definitely gives you a lot to think about. Here's a final thought to ponder, okay? The chapter ends by saying that what is with Allah is better than entertainment and business. If you truly believe that, like really took it to heart, how would it change the way you approach your daily life? That's something I'm going to be chewing on, and I hope you will too. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. See you next time.